Hey guys, George with Diamondyard Sportscards coming at you with another video. I've got some concerns. I'm kind of fired up, and that's why I decided to do this video. Now, it probably won't be all that long, but I have concerns with PSA. Many of you guys have been grading cards them for a long time. I have. Some of you guys are new to it. But in the last year and a half, I feel like there's a lot of randomness going on with these grades. You used to be able to look at a card and say, hey, it's going to fall in this range, probably within a grade, within a half grade, certainly within a grade. You can predict this stuff. Now it's become very unpredictable. And I can talk about that ad nauseum. You can watch people's PSA reveals and see what they think, especially the people who've done this a long time and how they're befuddled by some of these. I mean, I've got a friend who submitted these Tom Brady's playoff absolute. They're all like pack pulled, like 6 of them, 5 of them. And they all got 9s. All of them got 9s. Now, I have a hard time believing that that's possible. I'm sure one of them's a 10. One might be an 8, 8, 5. But they all are 9s. And so this kind of just makes me really question things. I'm a proponent of grading. I love SGC. I like PSA. But lately, I've just, last year and a half or so, it's been rough. But more importantly, I got a submission back, and PSA put the cards in the wrong holders. And it just makes you think about how somebody goes about their business. Like, are they doing their business well? Do they take time with it? Are they detail-oriented? And it just doesn't seem to be the case. And it makes me wonder what else is going on behind the scenes. When you pull that curtain back, the wizard's behind the curtain. You pull the curtain back, what would you really see? It makes you really think about that when you just can't get simple things correct. Then secondly, eBay authentication. I can see the value of eBay authentication if you buy a raw card. And if they're going to say, I'm buying a raw card just hoping it's authentic. Let's say I buy a 50 Bowman Jackie, which I have done this before online. But I'm experienced enough to where I didn't really need that eBay authentication. I bought one 10 years ago, I bought one 12 years ago. I got them graded. Great. They're fine. But eBay authentication for raw cards gives you that extra peace of mind. I get that. That is a useful service, and I'm sure they'll be charging for it at some point very soon. But this eBay authentication of already slabbed cards, ridiculous. Don't understand it. Completely ridiculous to me. And I'm going to give you an example here with a SGC card I purchased, and I'll tell you where they sent it for authentication and why it makes absolutely no sense. So here we go. Oh, and if we have some time, I'm going to show you some ridiculous cards that are very funny from the base 1991 Fleer Junk Wax set that I just love. Anyway, here we go, guys. Okay, guys, going to go through these cards that PSA graded. So let me just tell you, last submission had some, it was a vintage submission, but it had oddball cards in it. And it's like, man, if you've got oddball cards in your submission, it's going to take twice as long these days. They just don't have the people with the experience there to understand this. So for example, here's a beautiful 1974 All-Star Laughlin Jackie Scores 3 Times card. This is my card. It's a PSA 9. It's in a standard slab. Let me grab another slab I have just sitting around here. Here's a Monty Urban. So, if you all of us collectors, we all want that kind of things uniform. The slab is the same size. The slab's the same size, so you can put it in your Pinzoni case or whatever case you have on your wall, and that's how you want to display it. Now, is this card wider? Yeah. Does it looks to me like it's probably in a 56, 55, 56. It's maybe even wider than that. But anyway, it does fit in this slab. This is how it's been slabbed before. Is this a lighthouse holder? No, it's not. But this just makes sense. The card goes in a slab like the regular cards, so you can display them together, right? So I'm going to put this over here, this 74 All-Star Jackie Robinson. So then also Old-Time Black Stars. Old-Time Black Stars, here's a Satchel Paige. I picked this up recently. This is a new lighthouse holder right there. It's even got a newer cert number, a 6 number. So this card was recently slabbed. And again, it's in a regular slab. Yes, Don, I just smashed my cards again because that's how I roll. But anyway, so you put it on your wall or your Pinzoni case like that. Okay, so this makes sense. This is how it should be. So we get a submission back. I submit one of these cards, and I submit one of these, 2 of these Old Time Black Stars cards. And I'm going to give another criticism as well. But we'll start with the first one here. This is the slab, yes, believe it or not, that they put the old-time black stars in. Now, come on, PSA, really? Really? This is a slab? This is like a tall boy slab for like a late 60s, early 70s basketball card. This is insane, and this is stupid. And, God... Anyway, so this is insane and stupid, and more importantly, well, not more importantly, but you can see it's off kilter. They don't care. They don't care what you're. They don't care. Hey, here, take this card. We misholdered it. You can't really display it like you want to, and we're just gonna tilt it in the slab, and we're not gonna care, you know. And so that seems to be what's going on lately, just not caring. And they took extra time on this order. It took we had a modern order, 2 modern orders. They came back early. This thing took an extra like 2 months. What? So you could do this, put in the wrong slab. So I'm just going to put this one, which I can't even put on the card stand, I don't think. And I would probably just knock it over anyway, because that's how I roll. But anyway, so this is another one. Old-time black stars, Oscar Charleston. What do they do here? They put it in a giant slab. Oh, yeah, and they put an OC designation on it. Now, I don't want an OC designation. I would choose not to have this on there, but it's at the discretion of the grader now. In the old days, you could just disclaim it. You say, I don't want an OC designation, so this 8OC would probably be anywhere from a 7 to a 6. And that's fine. I'll take that. I don't want the designation. And I guess now I cannot disclaim the designation. I cannot tell them not to put it on there because it's at the, quote, discretion of the grader. The same grader who's working for the same company that's putting the cards in slabs like this, not the correct slabs. Again, this is very juvenile. I mean, this is who's doing the work over there. Oh yeah, let's not forget. How many quality checks do we have? We have 1 quality check. Then we have a second quality check to assure that they are in the holders that they are supposed to be, and the holders are free of defects. This is language directly from their site. Are these the holders are supposed to be in? Is putting the card that's sideways in the holder free of a defect? I don't know. I think that that's defective. Anyway, and again, we had the Jackie Robinson, which is the appropriate holder. Here's the one I sent in. It got an 8. Of course, they gave it the treatment. They didn't give it a 9. That's fine. But they put it in the big holder again, off kilter, left to right. You can see top to bottom. So now I'm going to have to jingle and jangling it around. But anyway, so again, what is going on here? Now, more importantly, I sent PSA pictures of these. I said, hey, you guys need to reholder these. They're in the wrong holder. I'll drop them off in Long Beach, and you guys can reholder them there in the appropriate holder. Then I get an email from that, I get an email from somebody with a really kind of unprofessional looking avatar, really kind of unprofessional, like a frowny face or whatever. And it's like, dude, we've gotten your request after 4 or 5 days. We've gotten your request, and we will forward you a response. Well, that was 2 weeks ago. So I mean, this is just ridiculous. This is just ridiculous business. And it's it's not a major deal. It's not costing me a bunch of money, but it just doesn't really show much concern for the consumer. And that's what this is all built on. I mean, their prices are getting lower because not as many people are submitting cards. Modern graded cards are going kaput, way down. And you know what? They need to treat their consumers with respect, like this company, SGC. So this is an old grade SGC slab of this beautiful Ty Cobb Universal toy that I picked up. So this is an eBay authentication issue. I'm moving on from the PSA rant. eBay authentication issue. So eBay gives you this void if damaged. And okay, so then I got that, and I can scan that in. This is an SGC card. So if you're going to have eBay authenticated, who should it be sent to for authentication? Well, the general thought would be SGC, but you might say, okay, I might send it to PSA because they grade this card too. No, they don't. They don't grade the Universal toy cards. They don't authenticate them. Only SGC authenticates Universal toy. They're the only ones. You know where they sent this one? They sent this one to Santa Ana, California, to have PSA authenticate an SGC slab of an SGC card that they don't even authenticate or grade. How does this make sense? You're sending a card that's got a pop of 7 on this card across the country. You know, I mean, I understand you might have to send it back across the country to Boca Raton to SGC, but why is it at PSA when they don't grade and authenticate these cards? That makes zero sense. Secondly, PSA. Then, if you look if you scan in the QR code, oh, how is it done? It has this whole process. How is it done? And talks about how PSA is a great authenticator of cards, which they are. And PSA, and then you go to the process. It has the authentication date, which in my case is December 14th of 2022, the authentication ID of some, person, and then an authentication by PSA. So they say it was authenticated by PSA, and there is a button or an arrow that says, see how it's done. So I press the button and the arrow, see how it's done. And then PSA, it says PSA will check the slab to see if it has been tampered with, and authenticate and that the slab itself is authentic to the grader. Wow. Like I couldn't do that myself. And they're also going to check it against the listing details. Really? So when I buy a card and I receive that card, I'm not going to check it against the listing details to make sure it's the same cert number or it's the same card? Well, I need PSA to do that for me? So nothing in this tells us in this eBay authentication, guarantee, you got a sticker there to make sure it's guaranteed right there, right? So that eBay authentication guarantee is that PSA, who doesn't grade and authenticate these cards, looks at it and says that it is just like the listing that I just bought it from, and that there are no cracks on the slab. Well, thank you for that. Thank goodness eBay does this. I feel such a sense of security. So anyway, this total garbage is just what I wanted to rant about. You've got people grading cards and not caring, and we're giving them our money. You've got authentic cards being authenticated and required to be sent across the country to the wrong grader who doesn't even grade the card, which, again, doesn't make sense. And again, soon eBay will be charging us for this. I'm pretty positive. So just keep in mind of that. On a lighter note, here are some great cards of some guys who have some just great faces. Look at these faces on these 91 Topps cards. I mean, these guys, they really did a great job getting these guys, at the top of their game with their faces just, really looking good. They're like, listen, Sid, can you just pose for us right there? Got just a great series of 91 Fleer, junk wax. And all these guys are just looking like they're under tremendous pressure. They're biting lips, biting that lower lip. They're looking like they're about to have a coronary because they're throwing the ball 150 miles an hour. And so I'm just going to end it with a few of these cards, these great faces of these guys who look like they're being tortured by pitching, just tortured. Medieval torture. There's another John Burkett. I'm going to end it here with a few of these cards. Juan Augusto. So, guys, thanks for watching. Give me your feedback. Tell me if you've had any similar things happen with PSA eBay authentication, or if you find this just as ridiculous as I do. Thanks a lot, guys. Happy New Year, and keep collecting.